Hello, my name is Ali Yousefi. Welcome to the Test Automation and EasyRepro series. In this edition of Designing EasyRepro, we will look at the grid and grid item objects. For the overview, we're going to cover the grid properties, the grid item properties, an example of the usage. We'll perform a demo and finally leave with some references. The grid object represents what we would call in dynamics a view. We have options such as clear search, get grid items, highlight a record, opening a record, searching for records, sorting records, and switching views. The grid item object represents the records within the grid view. We have properties such as get attribute of type T, entity name, ID, and URL. The usage example below shows how to loop through each grid item and write or do some assertions on particular properties. So in this case, we're writing the entity name, the ID, the URL, which is a deep link to the entity record, and finally, we're performing some assertions to see if certain column names are null or empty. Next, we'll cover a demo showing the following: how to highlight a grid item, how to get a collection of grid items, how to search and clear using the quick find, sorting grid items, and finally performing assertions on grid items. Welcome to the demo for EasyRepro working with grid and grid item objects. In this demo, we're going to cover highlighting a record, getting grid items, sorting by account name, searching using quick find, clearing the search box, getting a count of the grid items, doing an assertion to validate that we've gotten more than 0 records returned. We'll loop through each one of the grid items and look at each one of the objects. So as you see here, I already have dynamics pulled up with the My Active Accounts view. I'm going to perform the first demo, which is to highlight the record. You see that the Alpine Ski House record has been highlighted. This changed the command bar up here to give us the ability to say delete or run reports or do other actions we may not have had if we didn't select the record. Now we'll go get the grid items here using the get grid items method. And then we'll sort by account name. You see now the Alpine Ski House, Consolidated Messenger, and so on have all been sorted. For the third demo, we're going to search for adventure. If you have sample data in your org, this should pull up adventure works and maybe some other records as well. And we'll finally clear the search box. Going back, see that now this search for records box has been cleared. For the fourth demo, we're going to actually get a list of the grid items, set an integer for the number of results, which represents the grid item count. We'll do an assertion to see if the number of results is greater than 0. If it's not, then we'll throw in an exception here, and then we'll loop through each one of the grid items. Okay, I went ahead and skipped to where we've grabbed the grid items. You see there's 6 here, and now we're in the grid item. I'm gonna open a watch, take a look at what we have. This is an account entity, the ID and the URL, right? So if we would need to deep link to this, we could take this here and paste it into a new browser window. Finally, we have the attributes. Expanding on each one of these, you see name, account number, primary contact ID, address 1 city, telephone 1, and email address. This allows us to confirm that whatever data we have on the record is what we expect, right? So you can go through each one of these and get more information through this for each we're using here. All right, so I added some assertions, as you can see here, to just see if the columns are null or not. Is not null. So I'm checking the account name, the account number, and the primary contact columns. So the expectation here is that the first record should pass just fine. We have values for VentureWorks, for account number, and primary contact. However, the subsequent records are missing account numbers. So let's see what happens. Looks like the first one completed successfully. We are now on the second. As you can see here, I have a VentureWorks, a blank account number, and primary contact ID. And so as you see, the assertion actually did not work as expected. We're checking to see if it's not null. The account number actually is an empty string here. So let's see what we can do to correct this. So I've changed this line here to now use is false and use the string is null or empty for the account number. Let's take a look. And looks like we finished debugging and our exception message. Looks like so. Account number is null. All right. So in this demo, we covered how to highlight a record, which will allow you to delete, perform other actions, how to get the grid items, sort grid items, search for grid items, clear the search box, loop through the grid items, and do some assertions. That's the end of the demo. Thank you very much. Finally, we'll leave with references, including a link to the EasyRepro GitHub repository and a blog post titled Test Automation and EasyRepro, Designing and Debugging Unit Test. Thank you for watching this edition of the Test Automation and EasyRepro series. You can find my contact information in the slide here, as well as in the description below. Thanks.